Hey guys, this video is about why Dota is dying. For those that say Dota is not dying, a simple Steam stats will indicate it is. It used to be at 1.2 million as of February 2016, and it is now down to 700,000 almost. So it's definitely dying. This doesn't account for China, but I can't remember the Chinese source. It was dropping as well. Mind you, China has much greater numbers, so not as fluently. You could even just see by like all the green when it was first made to all the red. Okay, there's more red than there was green now. And the numbers don't lie. So it should be pretty obvious that it is dying. But it's nothing to be alarmed about because it can't really be prevented. And I don't want to sound pessimistic because it's not a bad thing that it is dying. And like with every game, games will always still be functioning and around. Take StarCraft 2, for example. That is technically a dead game, but they still have a healthy enough scene that they can still continue to outproduce tournaments, and there's a decent sized player base, and it still gets updated and stuff. That it's technically still a modern game. Just because it's dead doesn't mean that it's like non-existent. That's not what I mean by dead game. But I'm here to tell you the three main reasons why Dota 2 is dying, or dead, as some may claim it. Because I've seen other videos. It's kind of similar to others, but not really. A lot of them are just nitpicking at bullshit. I'm not going to be doing that. I'm just going to be straight up and honest as to why Dota 2 is dead. So, the first thing, it's just old. That's it. People have short attention spans. They want to be participating in the next biggest thing. Whether that's PUBG or Fortnite or whatever the heck. That's just how it goes. Or if some new campaign game comes out like Far Cry 5, they're going to be doing that over this. That's just the nature of gaming. There's not too many diehard fans that stick around in one particular game unless if it really catches their interest. So Dota's, even though they keep re-releasing the beta and stuff, it's technically like it's old news. Like Dota's being past its prime. It's people got the taste of TI, they got the taste of the patch notes and stuff, and now it's old news. Nothing's exciting about it anymore. So that's the number one reason why Dota is dying. It's just old, that's all. Number two is it's toxic. I hate using the word toxic, but it's not noob friendly. So it never has been. They've tried to make it noob friendly. They've released patches that do this, the cosmetics, all these benefits to helping new players and stuff, but it will never be a noob friendly game because it's not. The mechanics of Dota just are not friendly for new players. They're frustrating. And unfortunately, the majority of the gaming base is not interested in investing a fuck ton of time just to learn simple things like mechanics. Not simple as in derogatory towards those players, but they have better things to be doing, like more easier games, rather than trying to figure out mechanics that are not as easy to dive into. I can't really explain that. It's not noob friendly. A thing that kind of ties into this, so it's not a separate point, but the toxicity being the majority of the player base of Dota also is not noob friendly, so people aren't very welcoming of new players, and I don't blame them. It's because it's difficult to learn Dota. It's also difficult to tolerate people who don't know how to play Dota, because you can't constantly be teaching new people stuff. And there's MMRs and stuff like that, but in most cases, you're going to, at some point, end up with someone new in one of your games, and you're going to have to teach them, and it's not going to be fun. And you're not going to be very interested in teaching them something that's not easy to teach. So the toxicity of the community, which is still part of the point that I made earlier, is also a factor as to why Dota is dying. People just don't want to deal with that, and they'll go to a game like a campaign game that they don't have to experience that, rather than coming online and playing with people who are just generally toxic. I'm used to it. I'm a toxic person, so it doesn't bother me. But it probably bothers, if I grabbed a coworker from my workplace to start playing Dota, it would probably bother him because he's not used to that, or her. whatever. And the third one, the third and final point, is just shitty updates and nerfs. I wouldn't say shitty, but the updates and nerfs are not very rewarding, is what I'd say. So it was when Dota first started out, it was pretty simple. It was just nerfs. You know, they just nerf little things that seemed broken, that was it. Then they start ripping out buffs. So I'm trying to think of an example. Let's go to heroes for a second. So a buff, you know, like Shadow Fiend, when he dies, shoots out his ultimate now. Like, that was a buff. It was kind of just, it seems minor now, but it was actually pretty game breaking when it first happened. Or if we go kind of back to Dota 1, where I think it was either Naga or Troll had crit, and they got rid of the crit aspect. It was like a crit passive or something, because it was just broken. So stuff like that kind of revamped the hero. Even Centaur, he had like a strength gain thing, but then they ported him into this game and gave him that global ultimate, the increased movement speed stampede thing. Like, things like that is what kills this game. And in terms of killing it, basically you start out playing the game and it's very, like, balances are just nerfs. But then they start doing those buffs that I just mentioned, right? And then they do, like, talent trees and all these, like, buffs now are insane. Like, heroes get insane buffs now that are just out of this world. Like, they're almost like abilities for some of the heroes. So it's just, they don't make sense. Like, they feel forced. And forcing is good in a way, because you don't want the game to get stale, which I guess is a factor to why the game's dying. It's just stale. Like, in terms of being old, it's old news kind of thing. It's just stuff that we already know is going to happen. But the problem is, even with these crazy updates, we already know they're going to happen, right? The next patch is going to be freaking nuts. It's going to be a crazy update. They're going to, like, who knows? They'll give Meepo an extra Meepo per level or some shit, you know? Just something weird like that will happen. But it's expected. It's like, okay, another crazy update kind of thing. So, and just gameplay updates in general. Like, they introduced the 6-month bans now, which actually I am eligible for. I don't know why it didn't show up on my screen. Maybe I'm not. Who knows? I am now eligible for 6-month bans on this account, so it just means that I'm close to getting a 6-month ban. And that just, we don't have to talk about whether it's good or bad. It just drives away players at the end of the day. I'd say 90% of the Dota community is toxic. A lot of people, like on Reddit, they say they're not. They're like, just don't flame. Don't do this. But they're toxic. They're the same people that flame, that are telling you not to flame. That's the thing. Dota's so toxic, it's more than a majority of the player base. So the 6-month bans, they won't affect a lot of people, because a lot of people party queue and stuff, so the reports won't scale like someone who constantly solo queues and is toxic. But you're going to lose players. So we've already got a bunch of players being lost. Now, 6-month ban, I don't know when it was introduced. Recent, was it March or February? One of these months. So there's going to be even more players leaving. Currently, we're at a net gain. But there'll be more players getting booted because of the 6-month ban. They're not just going to make smurfs. They're just going to ditch the game altogether when that happens. Me, I'll just hop onto another smurf if I get the 6-month ban on this account. But yeah, like that in term is a shitty update, because rather than trying to rehabilitate the community and like reward people for being good, like better rewards and stuff, so that people are more inclined to be good than bad, they're just penalizing people that are being bad. But the majority of your community is bad, so you're just going to weed out everybody at some point, because there's always going to be reports, and there's always going to be people to report that will scale and take effect. So that's just, that's another thing. So the 3 main points, as I've already stated, is it's just old. That's it. You know, Dota's been around for a while. It's old news. There's nothing fresh about it. It's toxic, and the updates are no screaming hell. Like, they're predictable. It kind of ties into being old. They all kind of tie into each other, but those are the three main reasons why Dota is dying. So, can it be stopped? No, I don't think it can be stopped, even if you address all those points. It's just time doesn't favor Dota in this aspect. The MOBA genre is old news, so how would I fix it personally? Other than the time thing, which I have no control over, I would definitely go with rehabilitation methods over punishment. That way you're not decreasing your player base. And updates, I don't know what to say about updates. It's really difficult on how to balance and update this game so that, one, it's fresh, and two, it's not overwhelming. So I don't know exactly how to do that. And that's about it. That's all I do, is I just make it more rewarding to be good than to penalize for being bad. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the future at some point.